Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the other side of the coin and welcome to your latest Chelsea news. The future is looking bright. Well, it seems to be looking bright, but I've said it many times. It's only as bright as how the present is going to develop, ladies and gentlemen. The present needs to be rock solid. The present needs to lay a foundation so the future can absolutely sparkle. Look, there's a couple of really interesting topics to talk about today. Estevao Willian speaks on Chelsea Football Club. His father also has to say a few nice things about Chelsea Football Club. Andrey Santos as well has something to say about Chelsea Football Club. So we're going to go through all of that. But before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's very interesting to go through what our under-21 head coach Filipe Coelho, I think that's how you pronounce it, is, has mentioned on media. It's very interesting to see how our youth academy setup, the new setup now that has recently taken place, how is that going? How is it all linked to the broader spectrum of the football club? So it's going to be interesting to see down the track how the academy players can really transition into the first team, because let's be honest, we can't just be going into the transfer market and keep buying players season in, season out. Look, I'm pretty sure we're going to continue doing that in terms of buying gems and trying to find value for them and see if we can, make some profit out of them down the track. Of course, that's always going to be a revenue stream, no problems. But I think one of the big revenue stream down the track will also be academy products, how we can increase good quality academy players who can not only transition into the first team, but also can make it into other teams across the world. And we can potentially make some pure profits out of them too. All of this, I know it may sound like, oh my God, what's going on? It's all about business. It is. There's a large portion of football that is about business. So let's have a look at what Filipe Coelho has to say. We are making chances. We lead the league in shots on goal. But before last week, we weren't clinical to score with all the chances we were creating. The team needed to make connection, and they are now more unselfish boys. So Filipe Coelho looks like he wants to create a team that is going to create a lot of opportunities on field and will score plethora of goals. It's not about one individual. It's not about one particular individual going out there and just being selfish for themselves and only looking after their well-being. No, it's about working as a team and creating as many opportunities so that the entire team can flourish. So this is good. This is a great attitude to have. And this will obviously catapult the players to the first team, and the transition will seem very seamless because we want to be able to play a particular brand of football in the first team, which doesn't rely on one particular individual. I know at the moment Cole Palmer is running amok, but we want to be able to play as a team. We want to be able to play a brand of football that does not rely on one particular individual, that the system overtakes everything. I remember when Maurizio Sarri was our manager a long time back now, he said the players are simply complementary to the system. The system is the most important thing. And I think this is the philosophy of Chelsea Football Club down the track. Filipe Coelho goes on to say they understand that they will create more chances and more quality if they believe in the collective with a team mentality. It all came together in the Fulham match with 6 goals, all scored by different players. It shows they're understanding the message and creating good chances. Fantastic. So look, hopefully this is what happens, and this will create a fantastic future for Chelsea Football Club. Players coming from the academy will seamlessly get into the first team and operate normally. There will not need to be any adaptation because that's the kind of football that we want to play across all the different tiers in Chelsea Football Club, and it will increase the value of these players because if you have a look at Manchester City, like some of their players that are coming out from their academy right now, they're well touted across world football right now. Everyone wants Manchester City's academy players. We once upon a time had that as well. We still do, but we need to start creating more technical level players. But at the same time, we need to create strong players too. It's not just about the technicality. I feel like in these days, people tend to forget about off-the-ball work rate as well. So we want to be able to have both the balance. Now, this is fantastic. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get cracking into Estevao Willian. Lots to talk about Estevao Willian. He's got heaps to say, and his father as well. Let's go through all the news, and then we'll talk about Estevao Willian. Estevao Willian, when I signed for Chelsea, the next day I scored a goal and celebrated like Palmer. I tagged him on Instagram. I remember that post on Instagram quite fondly. He called me a star. I said, he's a star too. He said, we're going to do a lot of great things together for Chelsea. This is fantastic, man. I mean, Cole Palmer and Estevao Willian will get to see that, by God willing, next year. Well, we will actually start seeing it from the Club World Cup there. Estevao Willian and Kendry Paz will be ready to join Chelsea Football Club. They'll be eligible to be part of Chelsea Football Club because they would have turned 18 by then. And yeah, can't wait to see both of those players along with Cole Palmer. But they will have to work hard, even though they've been promised that they're getting first team positions. They will definitely need to still work hard. Estevao says he looks up to Palmer, Hazard, and Silva. Some very, very good role models. And yes, those are the kind of players that you want to follow their footsteps and make a huge career out of yourself. Nowadays, we have Palmer, who is an exceptional, spectacular guy. And in the past, I followed the Brazilian Willian a lot, who played there. Hazard too, who has the same characteristics. Thiago Silva. I think there are great references in world football who have passed through Chelsea. Hazard for everything he did, for his dribbling, for his objectivity. Brilliant. I love it. I love it. Good players to follow at Chelsea Football Club from Estevao Willian. It was a surprise. I'm very happy that Maresca said he's been following my performance here in Brazil as much as I'm following theirs in the Premier League. I've been following Chelsea a lot. I am happy that they are keeping an eye on my development. Fantastic. I think when there is so much hype about a particular player, you want to ensure that you're always in communication, keeping them in check at the same time, showing interest of their development, whilst they're still in Palmeiras. Similarly, it looks like Estevao Willian is showing keen interest in what Chelsea Football Club's doing as well. So you have to be emotionally attached. You have to understand each other. And this is fantastic from both Maresca and from Estevao Willian. Estevao, I'm trying my best not to go through any difficulties at Chelsea. So I try to take English classes. I have a fitness trainer who helps me with what I'll face there. We want to adapt to the different scenarios that will happen so as not to suffer so much. I love this. I love this from Estevao Willian so much. He's already putting the foundation, the stones in place to ensure when he's in the Premier League that he doesn't suffer too much. Look, I'm not going to lie. There will be initially some level of suffering, but you have to be ready for that. Learning how to speak English is a first big step. Yes, the language barrier can be a huge barrier. So if you learn how to speak English, one big tick. And the fact that he's got a trainer specifically trying to condition him for the Premier League, I like that a lot. I like that. And this is what we've seen with Kendry Paz recently, the way he's muscled up a lot more from what he was literally 12 months ago. Similarly, I think Estevao Willian just needs to fill up his body. These are kids. We have to understand they're 18, so they've got a lot of growth to still happen. But I like the fact that there is a specific trainer that he's kept who's going to condition him for the Premier League, because once you come into the Premier League, it's a different ball game. The physicality it's at a different level. We're going to talk a little bit about Kendry Paz down the track. Recently, Kendry Paz, his performances they've not been that great, especially for Ecuador, which is a bit of a concern, but we'll get back to that soon. But I really, really like that about Estevao Willian. Estevao confirms Chelsea visit in December. I don't know how long I'll stay during my visit in December. It's definitely a place I really want to go. People say it's one of the best cities in the world, and I really want to go and see it to get to know where my future will be, and I hope I really like it. Look, this is nice. This is beautiful. Whenever you get the opportunity, Estevao Willian, I'm pretty sure Chelsea will do their level best to bring you over. December, if there is an opportunity to come over, visit the city. It is a lovely city. I've been there twice. London is a really, really nice city. Get to know the city. Get to know your surroundings. Get to know Stamford Bridge. Get to know some of the players in the training ground. Why not? Whenever you have the opportunity to mingle and, basically integrate into a new society, by all means do it. I think Kendry Paz not that long ago was also at Stamford Bridge. So I like this. I like this every now and then, these future stars coming over and trying to integrate with Chelsea. I think this is fantastic. This is a very, very smart move. Estevao on Chelsea move. There's nothing to say about Chelsea, about being in a spectacular city that is London, about playing in the strongest league in the world and being amongst the best. Even more so now with the team that is giving opportunities to young people, that makes me happy. It got a lot of attention from my family too. Fantastic, man. He's buzzing, his family is buzzing, Chelsea's buzzing as well. And hopefully he becomes a superstar at Chelsea and turns out to be a huge player. We paid quite a lot of money for Estevao Willian. Don't forget, I think nearly about 56 million or something ridiculous. But he is quite talented. And kudos once again to the scouting network, to the directors. Hopefully, once he comes to Chelsea, he becomes a blockbuster player. Estevao's father, Ivo Gonçalves. I recently received a message from someone delivering bad news about Chelsea, and I replied saying that we are not guided only by what we see, but what we believe. We believe in this direction that does not depend on circumstances here alone. Fantastic. I mean, look, I'm not going to lie. I mean, even the fan base, we at times find it difficult with Chelsea Football Club. Let's be honest, the past 2 seasons since the new ownership has taken over, it's not been that great. It's not been all rosy. However, in recent times, looks like we've just turned a corner. We do need to see a lot more football, especially after this international break. Big fixtures coming up, and we need to see how the manager, the new manager, inexperienced manager as well, and the inexperienced team, how we cope with that. But it looks like maybe, just maybe, we've turned a corner. And it looks like Estevao Willian's father is quite aware of all of this situation. He's mature enough to understand that, yeah, there's going to be some hardship, but if the football club stays true to their notion, to their project, then good times will come. And this seems like to be the scenario at the moment. They've received some bad news in regards to Chelsea from people, and they are not looking to buy into it. Fantastic. That's how it should be. Estevao's father, Ivo Gonçalves. There were several clubs interested, but we are confident with Chelsea. Our choice was made under good guidance. The project that was presented to us, especially what is expected of him on the field, has everything to work. Brilliant. As long as every stakeholder in this piece is clear about what their objective is, that's all that matters. Look, all I will say is that Chelsea Football Club, the owners, the directors, the scouts, we all have a due diligence on all of these young players, whether it's Estevao Willian, whether it's Andrey Santos. We could talk a little bit about Andrey Santos as well. We can't destroy these players and their future. When they are proper superstars, we need to look after them, because there are a lot of young players that we've brought in. Some of them we've not been the most kindest to. I mean, look, we might have given them opportunity. They didn't shine as well at the same time. I don't think it's a one-way street, but we have to be very careful that we do the right thing. If we've promised them something, we need to deliver. But at the same time, the players need to also deliver too. It's not that you just get food served on your plate without working hard. You must work hard. Estevao's father, Ivo Gonçalves. I believe that one day we will be side by side and with the greats to receive a Ballon d'Or. But above all, we will be side by side on this journey through good times and bad. It's never too much to dream. And of course, always respecting the moments. 11 months ago, Estevao wasn't even a starter for Palmeiras, but today he's a success. That's true, man. The kind of performances Estevao Willian is putting on for Palmeiras is unbelievable. As his father just mentioned, 11 months ago, he wasn't even playing for Palmeiras. And now 11 months later, he's one of Palmeiras' main player. He's just scoring goals and assisting goals for fun. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, the future is bright. Ballon d'Or, why not? If you can become a Ballon d'Or from playing for Chelsea, man, that will be a fantastic sight for all the Chelsea fans out there. I've never seen anyone win Ballon d'Or for Chelsea Football Club, so it'll be fantastic to see down the track. Maybe play like Cole Palmer, maybe someone like Estevao Willian, Andrey Santos, who knows? It will be sensational to see one of our players win the Ballon d'Or. I think the closest we've ever got was with Frank Lampard, I believe, coming second to Ronaldinho. So it'll be nice if someone ends up winning it. Estevao reveals conversations he had with Andrey Santos. I met him in Ecuador And we had already made arrangements. We talked a lot there. We talked about English adaptations that will be difficult, but I think we have everything to make it work, and it will be great experience. He came over and asked me how I was feeling. He also said that it was really hard and boring to study English, but that he was learning too. He said he wanted to go there soon. He wanted to have the European experience. I said we'd be there soon. This is fantastic, man. Both of these players coming together. I'm pretty sure we'll see them in the Club World Cup. And then next season, we'll see them at Chelsea. They can definitely help each other out. We've got a lot of other South American players that can help them out as well. And hopefully they become superstars at Chelsea, man. And then this is fantastic. We'll get to see two young, talented players working together at Chelsea Football Club and potentially becoming just supreme players. Estevao on Kendry Paez, I think we can play together. Even though he plays more centrally today and I play more on the wing, I definitely think we can play together and it will be a good, healthy rivalry. Of course, man. I mean, one on the right side, Estevao Willian, and then one through the middle with Kendry Paez. But they will have to work hard. Don't get it twisted, ladies and gentlemen. Cole Palmer is not just going to, open up the gates and put out the red carpet and go, yeah, kids, go on and do your thing. No, Cole Palmer is definitely the face of Chelsea Football Club right now, and Kendry Paez will most likely be operating in that area. You will have to work tremendously hard to dislodge Cole Palmer. You may not need to dislodge. There's plenty of games to be available, and I think it'll be good to initially sort of phase them in as opposed to just throw them into the deep end. I think it'll be important to slowly but surely through cup matches, through European matches. Hopefully we're in the Champions League, getting minutes off the bench. All of this will be important, but they will need to work hard. You will need to definitely work hard. One thing I do want to say about Kendry Paez, recent times when I've been watching him for Ecuador, he's been getting hooked at halftime. Sometimes he's not even starting. This is something to look out for. We have to understand they're kids, they're young players. There's still so much development that needs to happen, and there will be hardship. And how they deal through the hardship is going to make them what type of player they're going to be down the track in the future. You could crumble, or you could rise above all of that and become a superstar. So let's see what happens. We'll keep a close eye on Kendry Paez and Estevao Willian as well. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, Andrey Santos. He's got a few things to say. A high-level player has to pay attention to every detail. Thank God I now have a physiotherapist, a cook too, who's helping me to perform. I love how these young players, they're building a squad for themselves, cook, physiotherapists, trainers. This is good. Spend the money properly. I think Cesc Fabregas recently said, if he was able to go back to being young again, he'd be, instead of spending money on that fancy car or that fancy whatever, the watch or the dress, spend money on these sort of things. Very important to look after yourself, to be a top level player. Andrey Santos, ladies and gentlemen, at Strasbourg is absolutely killing it. I've got no doubt Andrey Santos is going to be a proper Chelsea first squad player next season. His skill set in midfield is exactly what we want. He's combative. He's very good on the ball. He gets stuck into tackles. He can find those passes and he can score goals. So I've got no doubt he's going to be a Chelsea-level midfielder down the track. He's absolutely cooking at the moment at Strasbourg, and I hope he continues this way. I love the fact, the effort he's putting to ensure he becomes a top-notch player. As I said, a player who wants to reach a high level has to pay attention to every detail. The smallest details makes a big difference. This is one of the secrets to helping my performance. I love this, man. Brilliant conversation from Andrey Santos. Exceptional, man. I hope that he does well in the future for us too, and for Strasbourg. We need to pay more attention to Strasbourg, actually. Andrey Santos, it's a goal to play for Chelsea after this loan deal. I'm currently on I'm on at Strasbourg. It's a dream to play for Chelsea, where I was bored. I understand that it is hard for a Brazilian to arrive and right away start playing for a big team in Europe. If I remember correctly, the only one who arrived playing like that, especially in England, was Gabriel Jesus. The rest, everyone had to go through a process, like Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo, like me, like Savinho went through at PSV, like Vitor Roque is going through now. True. I mean, South American players, it is an adaptation process when they come to Europe, unless they go to someone like in Portugal or somewhere in La Liga as well, in the lower teams. To come straight away into a top team and expect to start immediately, it is unheard of. as Santos said, Gabriel Jesus probably was the only one. Generally, they need to go to all these other places to just get the feel of Europe. So I love the fact that Andrey Santos is a mature individual, mature young kid, man. And I love that he's well, understands the entire situation. He is going straight to the top. I fully believe it. Andrey Santos advised to Estevao before arriving to Chelsea. I think that if I had the opportunity, one piece of advice I would give him would be to come with a staff. There you go. These kids, they're quite well tuned these days. The screw on their head is tight, which is good. Come with a staff, have your cook, have your physiotherapist, have your trainer, because that makes it much easier to adapt. And I don't stop working, work, and I have a strong mentality. And also because the adaptation here in Europe varies from player to player, but the vast majority take a while to adapt because of the climate, the food, the football. What I would make clearer is to come with the stuff. It's very important. I love it, man. Andrey Santos, fantastic advice for Estevao Willian. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that is the latest. Some really fine comments from both Estevao Willian, from Andrey Santos. Let me know what you thought about both of these players and the way they've talked and the commentary they've made. Also talk about Filipe Coelho, under-21, Chelsea under-21 manager, and the view of how the players want to play down the track and the transition into the first team. Let me know your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. Smash up the like button. If you're here for the first time, subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Until next time, take care. See ya.